You know, for a long ass time, this spot right here has been very lonely.
In 2005, it's a blur because I was on like 3 different kinds of methamphetamine. So, but all I know is I wasn't happy. I didn't like being in the band. I didn't like most of the guys, and I didn't like myself more than anything. So, you know, being a drug addict, not liking your surroundings, and trying to raise a daughter all at the same time, it just doesn't really work. So,
he was in a situation where he told me that Janaea was at home with the babysitter, and his wife left to Hawaii and left his kid. So I was like, I'd do the same thing.
Something needed to give, something needed to change, and I didn't care what the cost was going to be. I needed to live. I needed to come back to life because I'm almost dead.
He quit with email. I remember that.
I thought it was a joke at first, honestly, because to me, and he kept everything hidden so much.
Something about God, and he was leaving.
God just opened my eyes to know that he was real. And so I was so excited for life. When I was doing speed, I was mixing Xanax and speed like every day. And so I was playing games with my heart, and I could have died. So just being totally free and alive was just, it overpowered any feelings of sadness by leaving my friends, you know.
It was like losing a family member. I know what it's like because I had both my parents. I've lost both my parents, and I consider Brian a brother. I was devastated, you know.
If I had to go away and like just kind of like die away from everything I've known to get into this process and of cleansing my soul.
If I look back on it now, the root of the situation was just a decision he had to make to top off with all of the drama going on in his life.
I'm living my life. I'm taking my daughter to school. I'm making her breakfast. I'm making her dinner, doing homework with her, you know, doing school activities, and it was all new for me. That gave me a lot of joy and satisfaction because I was all my daughter had at that point, you know.
I never considered bringing someone in full time.
I just bailed out, left him with everything, and he really took it and did a great job with it, you know.
I really had an extreme amount of pressure. I think from myself, mostly. There was a lot of growth and a lot of struggle within myself to prove to myself that I could do this without bringing somebody else into it. I had to think differently.
I was happy with my new life, but then that thorn in your side, you know, you're just like,
keep holding on when my brain's ticking like a bomb. Gets the black thoughts to come again to get me.
Coming Undone came out, and I was flipping through and I saw it and I was like, ow, my heart hurt. And because it was such a cool video, you know.
I had to think with both sides of my brain, and I have trouble just with one side. We brought in some new producers. We kind of tried to reinvent ourselves as a 4-piece band.
I attended Carolina Rebellion because my daughter wanted to go see Evanescence. She wanted to go see Stain. She wanted to see Korn. And I was like, all right, I'll sneak in there and just maybe go say hi to a couple of the guys. And I don't know if Monkey will want to see me, but I know if I was texting Fieldy once in a while.
He got up with the band Red on the side stage and played. And I just remember going, wow, I got to go over and see him.
The band Red, those are friends of mine too. They took me out on tour with my solo stuff. And so they were like, hey, why don't you jam a song with us?
He walked on stage and just kind of took over, and the crowd went nuts.
Have you ever heard of Brian Head Welch? It's every down and then you pick me up. You take it all and still it's not enough. You try to tell me you can heal me, but I'm still bleeding and you'll be the death of mine.
It seemed to go over well, you know. It's the first like rock festival I played in years. Fieldy and all his entourage came over and watched.
Okay. That was fun. Here, man. Stop giving me sugar.
Just seeing Reggie and Brian standing together was like, wow, it gave me chills instantly. Like, this needs to happen.
The day before that, I had found out he was going to be there, and I kind of had a lump in my throat because I didn't know if we were going to talk. I didn't know if he was going to keep his distance.
Reggie was going towards Monk's bus, and he was literally like pushing him towards the bus.
I was kind of nervous a little bit, you know, just like been so long.
When the moment actually happened, it was a complete relief just to see the clarity in his eyes, and it just all made sense to me right at that moment when I saw him. Like, he looked so healthy and so present, and it all made sense why he had to do what he had to do to clean up his life. He found his faith. All of that just kind of came together right at the one moment I saw him.
That Jekyll and Hyde drunk dude wasn't there no more. I could see it in his face. He was back to that good-hearted, nice guy. When I read like about spirituality and stuff, and it's about like forgiveness and apologizing for the stuff you've done wrong, and so I was just doing that. You know, I was like, hey, I just want to look you in the face and tell you I'm sorry for hurting you or just bailing the way I did, and I haven't seen you face to face, so I just want to tell you that, you know, in person. I remember hanging out, and Jonathan's like, come on, Head, let's go do the meet and greet. And I was like, meet and greet? I'm not in the band no more.
I was so excited just to be walking with him over to the meet and greet. Man, if this could be a band again, you know, I just felt the possibility. I had this hope.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
We were doing pictures together. It planted the seed of hope and the possibility of him returning. That's all it takes, is the seed, the idea, and it needs to, you know, be nourished.
In back of my head, I was hoping that Head would get on stage with us and play that night. To me, it was so obvious he was right there.
And when we were walking to the stage, he walked with us. And it felt like that seed had kind of started to take root a little bit and to sprout.
I had goosebumps on that introduction.
Jim, the guitar tech, got the amp ready to go, and just in case something happened.
And then right before Korn went on later that night, Fieldy, I was walking with him, and he was like, hey man, I'm just saying, there's an amp and guitar set up for you. And I was like, what?
He's gonna come out on Blind.
Yeah?
Same thing.
If I mess up, don't
Doing
get mad.
the same thing. We're gonna do it exactly like we always do it. But right when you go, bum, 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 boom, I'm all. Get ready for some crazy shit, people.
You hear that? Brian Head Welsh getting up to play Blind with us. Over 30,000 peeps in North Kakalaki.
I wanted to watch him because I used to be a fan of Korn, but I couldn't watch him because I was in Korn, you know? I always said Jonathan was like my favorite singer, and he's in my band. How cool is that?
I want to bring out one of my truest and oldest and most beloved old friends.
Head was standing right there. Head was on my side of the stage, and Head's like, he goes, what side should I walk out on? What side? I go, go all the way on Monkey's side and make a scene.
My boy!
This guy comes across the stage with a guitar over his head, making a triple scene.
You guys ready to get crazy? This is where it all began, people! Are you ready?
I'm like seeing like my extended family again, you know? All those thousands out there. They were just cheering that they just loved what we did for them, you know? And I loved what they did for us, and there they were. So I felt emotional.
I had all kinds of emotions going through my head at that night. I was pissed, I was happy, it was everything.
Since I got in this band, that was always my thing, is to have the four original up front and me in the back. The energy and the surge that came over the whole entire band and crowd was just pretty insane.
I was just crying like everybody else. I just walked up to him and told him, thank you so much for doing this with us one more time. And there was no talk about coming back. None of that stuff. It was just like, thanks for doing this, bro. It felt really good.
So many great things were said about that performance, and everyone had the same kind of hope that we all had that day.
I think he was taken back by it too, by everybody, just the emotions and how much, you know, him being in the band meant to everybody.
I remember leaving there in the car. I remember tweeting something about world domination.
The next day, it was just like a shitstorm. Just everybody was talking about it. Had got up on stage with us. We did this. We did it. We did it. We did it. And I felt good. I just didn't know what the hell he was gonna think.
It was bigger than what I thought it would be, you know, as far as the reaction. And I was like, it really touched my soul, you know. I was like, something's going on here, and I got to figure out what it is.
I didn't hear one negative thing.
We had to go with separate paths and then end up together again, but I didn't know like what that meant.
After we did the show, we were kind of in contact, and I go, you know, why don't we just do a record and do a tour together, because it feels all right.
And when we were all talking about it, I said, we got to get him back, come on. And I go, I think it would be better, James, if you asked him. Coming from you, that you guys were left and right, you know.
We were catching up, and you know, and I told him, I said, I don't want this phone call to be about you coming back to the band. I told him just think about it, and I think a week went by, and he called me back, and he said he'd like to, you know, write some songs or get in the rehearsal studio.
Of course, I was beside myself.
It just kind of unfolded where we was like, let's do this, man. We've been friends our whole life.
God is a God of reconciliation, and I started to see that he was reconciling my friends and my family in my life. So I just stepped forward, and here I am.
We started, and it really was like no time had passed.
I just showed up, and I had some ideas, and we just started jamming.
When he plugged in, I just remember hearing his tone right off the bat, going one chord. It was just like, what? And then Monk hit a chord, and then I heard it in the stereo, and I went, this is what's missing.
It was just magical where I was just sitting back and watching Monkey and Head, how they bounce guitars left and right, and that's what's so magical about Korn.
And Reggie obviously plugged in and hit a couple notes with his thumb, and I'm thinking, this is going to be on fire.
He actually is a better player now. It was inspiring to listen to him play. I got inspired again.
I made sure I had an idea for anything, because I didn't want to get stuck looking at the floor like we used to, you know, because they used to call me like the strikeout master, you know. If I'd give a riff, hey, what about this? And they're like, strike one. How about this one? Strike two. 3 strikes, I'd be gone home.
That studio in Oil was amazing. There's just some great energy there. It was the River Theater. It was built in 1936. Buck got it in 67 and built the studio inside the theater part of it. It's a massive, huge complex. There's just rooms, and it's fun, and it's kind of run down, but it's got this charm, and I don't know, there's something about it. It's magic there.
Oildale, California is like this. It was at one point the speed capital of the United States. It was just the meth capital. So when we recorded the first album, we went and did some more vocals with Jonathan there, and I did some background vocals there. We did Ball Tongue and Lies, I believe, there. And yes, we were on methamphetamines.
When Buck got done using it, my dad had it for like 20-something years. And then I got it when I moved back home. So it's been in the family a long ass time.
Oh no! Buck Owens is in the
He goes. Okay, I'm ready. Okay.
It inspired me to get back to playing my niche in there, you know, where they're going back and forth. It gives me that able to bounce right in the middle and do my percussion style bass deal and just being me instead of trying to make up for when he left and we're trying to make up this whole new chemistry.
The chemistry with Ray and Brian was crazy. I mean, watching these two work out little parts, what Fieldy and I teamed up and worked on rhythm things or whatever.
That riff, it's like Bumblebee.
This one's called Bumblebutt. Yeah, that's it.
Because this
You
is
do
the
it right
dominant
here.
note.
Yeah! You said just what I was thinking. He knows how to put things into words.
I just know what you're thinking.
The dominant note.
Sloppy bumble butt take. Bubble butt.
We started just blending in as friends again, and then next thing you know, it's like a comedy session like every day.
First thing I learned is how big of a goofball Head is.
This is whole Chino part, huh?
Listen.
Oh, I thought that was it.
We were in there weeks, and the stuff was just getting better and better every day. And there was so much excitement growing.
It's so much fun. It's a challenge.
I make mistakes on every single part.
Me too.
It's funny because our brains are like really good and our hands suck.
Yes.
Just everything, man, that we've always tried to get out of our fingers that finally came out and it's laid down on the new Korn record.
I've been blessed to work with a lot of good drummers. I worked with, David for years. David's a great drummer. Worked with Josh Freese. I worked with Dan from Love and Death. We're all old friends, and there's obviously a connection with all of us. But when I came in and started working with Ray, it just felt new and refreshing.
Having this machine together, I couldn't ask for more.
And Ray just would show up, lit up, like just, okay, guys, let's do this. Let's try it. Oh, that's cool right there. Oh.
The top marching part, and into the beat, into the verse part.
Into the beat with the heavy thing?
Heavy thing. Yeah.
This song's called Cage.
What's half of that?
Because it sounds like Rage Against the Machine, we're going to call it Cage. A K, A, backwards, G, E. Oh my gosh, you foo-foo fee-fee.
Hold back. Stay sick.
Get him.
What? They will kill you.
Hey, get off that computer.
Sitting on your laptop, right on your Mac, just a big old P.
We're going to take that to loudwire.com, that heavy metal site, you know?
Yeah. What is it?
Who took that?
You're cleaning up shit.
Yeah.
Oh!
I'm excited about this stuff. It keeps getting better, which is a good thing. Except for that part.
It's weird, they'll feed off of each other. Like, Monk will play something, and then Brian will go, oh, yeah, keep doing that. And then he'll answer him, or vice versa. And it's just like, it could be one little note.
I wasn't even playing my bass because I was just watching how they just go back and forth and answer each other, and they're like a left and a right, or like a, and it's just so fun that the way that those two work together.
With him and me, when we get together, it's never a competition thing, but it's like a, wow, that's so awesome that he came up with that.
Come in with that, and then like that.
look up to him, and he did great on his own all these years. Like, they did great. But there's a Korn sound that's meant to be with the guitars. And with me and him back, it just, it's another level.
Check it out. A slide up. Watch. It's cool, huh? Let's speed it up.
Yeah, that's the only
Yeah,
reason I
kind
know,
of
but it's a
slow,
little
huh?
Sabbathy right now. It's a little Sab. Sab. It's a new name.
Sab.
Sabby.
Savvy.
When the Korn writing started happening, you know, we had one Pro Tool rig over there.
Get that mouse, kid. Click that mouse. Oh, yeah. Handle it.
How many musicians does it take to figure out Pro Tools?
We would just kind of play literally musical chairs, and Brian would sit in front of it, and he would get frustrated with it. And can you help me do this? We were just trying to do simple shit, like turn the microphones on and record.
Lucy A at the helm right now.
He's an engineer.
An overall engineer. James Shaver's an engineer. Brian Welsh and Lucy A.
Collectively engineered
Yeah.
by, and then it has all of our names.
It was a little bit of a mess, but it also made it funny and fun.
The working titles for the songs were very funny, like Taco Titties. There was Tri-Tip. We named a song called Tri-Tip. There's one called Wiener Schnitzel. That made our guts gurgle too.
I've been in a lot of bands, and the working titles for this record is some of the best titles ever.
What happened? I almost passed out.
You serious?
No. I don't know if it's something I ate or what, but I got really weak and I'm like all shaky right now.
Oh my gosh, it's probably those tacos.
The Welshes were nice enough to invite us, Head's parents, to their house in Bakersfield.
My parents watched these dudes grow up, and so they're like, Brian, would your friends come over for dinner?
All we could think about all day was the Tri-Tip that Head's dad was preparing, and especially Reggie was like, okay, we done now, let's just go, let's go. Like, no, we got another hour. Well, maybe it's ready, let's just go.
The Korn guys, they're good guys. I've known them a long time. Brian is spending some time with them, and they seem to be getting along real well and enjoying each other's company.
Tri-Tip, Tri-Tip, Tri-Tip.
Yeah, it's on. Tri-Tip at the Welsh residence.
This is the tip of the tri.
You get that tri-tip, boy. Boy. Get that, slather it. Get it slathered.
Look at that.
My mom says grace, you know, and we start eating.
Wow, I'm eating dinner with the original Korn. This is kind of surreal right now.
Phil, man, I can't wait to get some of that again.
I stayed there basically 2 or 3 months or something like that, like split up, you know.
They're still together. They were like, you know, together since high school. My parents are the same thing. You know, they're high school sweethearts. They're still together to this day. So we had that in common. So I was talking to his parents about, you know, going through your whole life with someone and that attachment. And it's pretty heavy because these days it seems like there's not a lot of people that stay together. You know, it's too easy to get out.
This is where I sleep at my parents' house when I'm working on the Korn record. Don't mind these smelly dudes. This is the office, as you can see. Check it out, Bakersfield, California. I never got the front page or nothing, but they picked, like it was always Jonathan or Monkey or something like that, but they got me one year. And so my hair's flying, and I was like, I was singing Ball Tongue back in the day. Ball Tongue. Now look at the face, same face.
Hoggle? Or Shoots and Ladders.
Really humble. My mom's sewing room I sleep in. So this is my bed. Look at how glamorous it is. It's like the size of a prison bed, but hey, I'm cool. I'm not picky.
It was cool. I wake up, and usually my parents' dog will wake me up. It's high pitch.
Yeah, my parents moved here when I was about 10, 15 years ago. And we grew up about 10 minutes from here, me and my brother. But they sold the house, and they live here on a golf course in Bakersfield, California.
We were very focused, and we started getting very excited over the months that were passing about the stuff, and then we got really comfortable with ourselves.
Everything was moving along better than I expected or even hoped at that point.
What is on the new record is kind of intertwined with all the writing sessions that we did. There were so many different ideas flowing that sometimes we took ideas from this song and we meshed them with this one later, maybe 5 weeks later.
Hey, why don't we check this out? It might be gay, but...
That's pretty cool, actually.
Put the lick in there.
I like it.
No one plucks a string like those guys. No one hits like Reggie. You know, they're so unique in themselves. So it made my groove and my playing different. Being in this band for 6 years, it made me go to a whole new level.
That's hard.
It is hard. Is that what you're talking
Hey,
about?
that was really cool.
After several months of writing by ourselves, it was time to bring someone in, a fresh ear, to hear everything and go, okay, here's what I'm hearing. What do you guys think? Bouncing ideas off of each other.
Peter Katz has told us, you know, what about Don Gilmore?
Hey, what are you wearing right now?
Fishnets, but they're underneath my jeans, so nobody can tell.
I know they are. You want to talk about producer?
You know, Don Gilmore's very interested, right?
I know that name.
Used to do Linkin Park. He's done the most recent 3 Days Grace. It's the #1 track at rock radio at the moment. He's trying to find something that was kind of like in the middle that straddled both worlds.
I was up for that right away just because of his track record.
He's done some pretty great records and some stuff that I don't really like all that much either. But you can't hand somebody, me or Brian or Fieldy, a guitar and not us sound like us. It's impossible.
He's writing notes on paper.
Hey, what paper?
Did you scan it after you're done?
Okay, hold on.
Don't want to take
I put it in my notes. My notes app.
This dude, man, he could sing, he could play guitar, he could play bass, he played everything. He knew harmonies, he knew backups, he was a full-on musician, so that's what was like inspiring for me.
He's amazing and he's so talented. He hears things that I don't hear.
He brought out and helped us develop the songs to a level that we were all happy with.
That last song, Homo,
Yeah.
what if that chorus was in this song?
He's a producer and that's why he's so good at what he does.
15. And then if we're talking about making Seppa, Voltra, and Buck Owens one song, that's 16. If they're going to be two songs, then we have 17 songs.
I didn't start till like 6 months later. I was going through my own little personal hell. I was going through all kinds of stuff with my son, diabetes. It was really, really emotional time in my life. I was not in the condition to do anything, so it was really cool to have those guys to lean on. They put a whole bunch of songs together, and I came in one day and saw everybody, and everybody was all happy.
Yeah, so we'll work on the chorus.
This part's cool.
I love that note. It's really melodic.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's when I moved into the studio. I set up a whole little apartment upstairs, and I stayed there the whole time till it was done.
Wiener, taco titties, and orangutan hop.
I'm a grown man. I don't need to be saying these titles.
A great producer, and most musicians will agree with me, they have to bring the best out of the artist. Whatever talent you have, their job is to take it even further and to really make you reach further than you've ever reached before.
He kind of challenged us right away, like before we even got in a room. I think you got the old Korn sound like covered. Why don't you guys try to write some stuff that you normally wouldn't write? Just go for it.
I would love to get you, and you up into that room and plug in guitars and just see what the fucking happens.
What about Ray?
I'm sitting right here, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, this song is badass. The noises on this.
That's sick.
If we get you guys
That's a
on
great
that,
song.
that's your fucking pillow. We're fucking bad.
Spike on My Veins was a J Devil song I did with Noisia. They invited me to their hometown. They have a couple studios there. It's called Groningen. So we pulled the bus up there and I stayed 3 days. I got to go write. I wrote Spike on My Veins. It was so much fun working with guys. They're so talented. They're the best electronic producers. And it was an honor to be able to jam with them and make some songs.
One thing that's cool about this, it's just chill, and then when we hit that the drums drop out, and it's just the guitar fucking raging, and then the to me, the thing that's awesome about this song is it never goes all the way there.
You know, that we did Path to Italian, that was a complete, you know, bass music record with the dubstep, drum step, all kinds of stuff. And so when we wanted to do this record, I wanted to keep those elements, but just, you know, sprinkle them in there in true Korn style, like we did with, like, I don't know, Fall Leader and first Korn record, where it was really influenced by hip hop stuff. It wasn't overly that, but it was in there. So I wanted to take those elements and put them in what we were doing. So I programmed a whole bunch of stuff upstairs. I was working with Head and Monkey, did some stuff up there with them. All this stuff in Russia and Czech Republic. They're called icons. So I had all these icons all over the place. Plus I have like one of the paintings that David Tsoupakas did for me. He did the See on the Other Side album cover. It's a part of my art collection. Just all kinds of this stuff I have, and just vibe that room out to be my little studio. I love it up there.
I love the old Korn sound. I love the guitars, all that stuff. I didn't want the electronic vibe to come in and take away from what me and Monkey started this band with. But at the same time, I used electronic stuff in my band, Love and Death.
I got Sluggo to come out, my buddy Sluggo. He was on tour with us. And he programmed a whole bunch of stuff.
We wanted a record that sounded today, now.
Let's do something new, like new sounds. Once we tweak them to get them perfect, it sounds amazing. It sounds like old Korn, but it sounds like 2013 old Korn because there's new elements mixed in. And it's just like, it's fresh, it's bright, it's exciting, you know.
And we used this other guy, Zalian, who Don knew, to do some other stuff. We wanted to keep the big bassy Reeses and really just layer stuff to make it sound just ginormous. It wasn't about making more of a dubstep thing, it was about using some of those sounds and stuff to make it even more intense and more huge.
It's true to Korn, it's true to Jonathan's heart, you know, with the lyrics and the melodies and the electronics blend into the Mine and Monkeys riffs and Fieldy's old bass sound with a click, that stuff's there, it's got everything.
Only a handful of people knew.
There's people starting to figure it out, you know?
It was like, even like, can I trust them?
I wanted to let the surprise out by us. So when these fans were trying to figure it out, I put out a tweet, I was like, so cool to play with Korn at Carolina Rebellion. Maybe in 10 years or so we'll do a reunion or something. I think it made a lot of people mad because they were hoping for that. Sorry, everybody.
It was tough keeping it a secret because everyone was so excited.
You're not going to tell everybody this awesome secret. We're going to tell them.
I was just hanging out with Don. I just started playing songs that I did because everybody knows I write every night, and I just do it for the fun of it. So I played him a whole bunch of stuff, and that was one of the songs, Lullaby for a Sadist.
The song never left my head. John's melodies in that song are so great. The chorus always gave me chills, and I'm thinking I would love it for that to be on the new record, the contrast of it.
It needed Brian's touch on it and have it a little darker, because the lyrics are really dark.
The cool thing about the original version is that there's a definition in sections. You know, it has that cool tom thing in the pre-chorus I like a lot. And we just need to lift it.
So we went back through and reworked the whole song, and that's how you hear it now.
I'm really proud of the way that song came out.
I just thought it would be better for us both to be in the room for guitar overdubs.
It was just like batters up to bat. Like I'd go up to bat and I'd pass the bat to him and he'd come in and swing. It was so fun.
Does your shirt say Durst?
I don't know what it says.
It does. Oh, man. That's awesome.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Now play it all the way back. It's like the stuff we would have done like yesterday.
He would play for a little while, and I could sit back and listen. You just hear stuff when you're not playing it.
Monkey really worked hard because he has a new baby, you know. He was putting 110% into this album. He was like, I haven't seen my baby, but we got to work next week.
Can we be done? What the hell?
It was just like the old days, but better. I can't grow up, man. I've tried.
Hey, come here. Hey, come here. Hey, come here. What? You smell that?
Is that what I did?
Yeah, you do that.
When?
You still do that.
No, I don't. I'm 42. I'm grown up now.
I'll ask your daughter. You probably have never stopped.
I did get serious for a lot of years when I left Korn because I had to face some stuff because I was unhappy and I needed to focus, you know, counseling and spiritual stuff, and I was just like, I'm gonna be happy if it's the last thing I do, you know. And I finally got there.
Busted my toe, and it was hanging off like that, so I just chopped it off, so we're gonna try to get it sewn back on now.
So,
out, man.
Not speeding, you know.
What the fuck? Here's how Head rolls into the studio. What's up?
What, me?
Yeah. Eating a big bowl of cereal.
Yeah. Totally. You gotta keep it gangster.
They kept buying this cereal, this granola cereal. Like, I can't say no to it, and I'd eat a big old bowl and with milk, and I have gas like every day, and so they would like almost kick me out of the studio because I was farting so much, and so that was the only problem. The guitars were great.
Excuse me. I got something in my throat, sorry.
Dude, you're lactose intolerant.
Want to sell like Brian Head Welch on your next record?
James Monkey Schaefer, live and in person at Guitar City. Space is limited.
Every day we were there together on the record to do every guitar piece that you hear.
His stuff is my favorite guitar stuff. It's just like driving.
Perfect, 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 perfect.
We challenged ourselves so much. We were writing even in the guitar overdubs. We were throwing stuff out and making stuff better. Everything just clicked and fell into place.
What's so different, it was trying to get my signature sound that I've always had, and I think it got lost a lot of the years. So just getting that back was the hardest thing.
1, 2, 3, 4. Reginald!
Keeler. Who plays bass like that?
As far as how I clicked in with everything, it just happened because it was natural. So it was like just me being me, you know, just playing my bass line, just letting it not be forced and let it just flow out. Monkey's first deal, like that kind of stuff.
Really?
What?
I was really excited when I found out that we were going to do drums at NRG. There's so many legendary records made there.
Fucking Ray. Here comes Ray. Look out!
Done our biggest record there, which was Follow the Leader. To go back and be in those rooms again was nostalgic and exciting. And
I was a drunken mess. I just remember it was just one non-stop party. So there was an orgy going on when I was doing It's On. There was people having sex all around me while I was singing that song. It was such an awesome rock and roll moment. I'd love to just hear the acapella, just if you muted everything and you could hear everyone just fucking around me. It was amazing.
The last time we spent like $9,000 or $19,000 on alcohol or something.
Right after that record's when I got sober. It's been 14 years that I haven't had a drink or done drugs. It's pretty crazy.
Well, because I mean, they're trying to get rid of all the old tapes.
Right. No idea.
So you guys are more than welcome to take it if you want it. I mean, it's
we
cool.
want it, yeah.
This is Freak on a Leash.
What?
Multi-track.
Get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome.
When I walked in the drum room, I just had this like giddy feeling in from the get-go. So the pressure was I had, you know, about 20 songs to do in 3 days.
fucking money.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? No. That was awesome.
You can't get really bad sound in that studio, so.
The room is so acoustically set for, you know, great sounds that you just walk in and do it. The band came down for the sessions, and it was awesome just to see them in there and see Brian and cracking jokes behind the glass and Monk giving comments. Great vibe all the way around, great energy.
Cool. Very proud of you. Thank you, sir. Come on in, we'll move on.
I loved living there, which is really cool. I needed to be around it 24/7. So me and my boys, Pirate Zeppelin, stayed there. I got them a whole bunch of pens and paper and shit, and they started drawing all these crazy, like, pictures and shit, and I just put them all over the studio. That's kind of my inspiration. So I'd have my kids' drawings around. And this is a new Korn album cover. My son drew it. I'd work all day, they'd come home after school. I'd work more, we'd play. Boys, these are all over your fucking house. Everywhere I look, I find fucking Legos. And just did that all through the week, then I go home on the weekends. Bunch of guns, people getting blasted. The mind of my children. That's So Unfair I wrote is just about Zeppy. I was doing the melody lines, and Zeppy was just prowling around. And I kept singing, Zeppy's on the prowl, da, 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 da. And it just kind of like, that became his song. My son is on the prowl, what's gonna happen today? Sometimes I feel empty inside, he takes that all away. Feeling sorry's not allowed, there's times I have bad days, but Zeppy's still alive and well, that's all I need now.
It's like, wow, Jonathan Davis has a son and he's like this upstanding citizen.
I am an upstanding citizen.
He's a real guy. I mean, you know, you're at this point in your career where you can do that. You do that kind of shit. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, man. Just being real. That's how it got me this far.
Yeah, I hear you.
I just talk all kinds of shit and say shit that normal people won't say.
Yeah.
And he'd sing around humming it and stuff. And so when it come down to do lyrics, it's like I just got done shooting him with his insulin, checking his finger and doing all this stuff, and it just kills me to have to hurt him continuously all day. It just seemed like it was so unfair for him to get that. It's unfair for any kid, not just my kid. And so I wrote this song about just how I felt. 'Cause I can't help your cards been dealt. It's so unfair. Your eyes, they burn me. It's hurting.
Good shit.
It's not fair, but I'm gonna get through it, and he's gonna be all right, you know.
You like it?
Well, it's very personal.
You listen to Korn albums? I'll play you some songs, Don. I'll make you cry like a motherfucker.
I had this huge fog over my head. Everyone knows I had my battles with anxiety for a long time. I'd been on Xanax for 3 years, and a doctor said, you know, you've been on this medicine a long time, and it was really bad for you, so we're going to take you off. So at the beginning of the year, when I got done with the tour, I had to go detox. And since I'd been on it for so long, it was an extended detox. I really didn't come out of that fog until almost after the record was done. So it was me just being in that weird space and things going on. The bullshit I'm facing, my feelings I'm hating, reality, it's failing, this shit is degrading. Like that, don't you?
Hear that?
Motherfucker. I don't know, I was in someplace in between. Here and there.
He's been going through so much. Like the poor guy, like we all face stuff, but you know, it seems like this guy goes through a little bit more than other people. I was just telling him, John, like when you get through this, like you start doing vocals, you're gonna come out and you're just gonna be able to paint these songs, and they're gonna be so beautiful, you know. So you're going through this for a reason. When I heard it, it was like exactly what I said. I was like, this is the best he sounded. This is the most like emotion that I've heard from him in a long time.
you there? How come won't you listen? Come on, I really do care. Come on, I really don't care. It's just numbed everything. The whole world. I mean, I needed it because of the anxiety was so intense. Nobody can really understand unless they have anxiety. It was something that I had to do or I couldn't function. So I spent pretty much the rest of the year, and while I was doing the record, learning how to live and deal with things without that. It's going to take probably a year for me to get normal again, but slowly my brain's wiring itself back to normal.
John's melodic sense and his lyrical content is just amazing.
You know what's funny? I failed English. And that's what I do for a living now.
Going on day to day. Why's life gotta be this way?
I like the song Mass Hysteria. The way that he just says it, and it's kind of a short sing. It's not nothing to shine, but to me, he's shining on that.
Mass hysteria!
This is the coolest I've ever heard John in our whole career. His voice sounds the coolest. His delivery, his confidence, his everything about it is I think what I've always wanted to hear out of him. He kept it in his range, so you're getting the full Jonathan tone of his voice, and it's so powerful and better than I've ever heard it.
Give me a reason, 'cause I got nothing to gain. So what are we doing now? Feeling complacent, I cannot be contained. I'm so lost and lonely now.
I really didn't get to know the guy until after the band left, and it was just me and him doing vocals, and I just, in my true fashion, broke his ass down. For me, if I gotta work with somebody, they gotta pull their walls down, and I can't fucking create with them. So I used my sons to chip the walls down, because they're great at doing that. Because I work with lots of people who got black fucking hearts, they have no kids and none of that shit. So I just sick Pirate and Zeppelin on them, and that shit worked like a charm. I'm a vocal comedian, just tell me.
Just maybe a little more character, just like kind of a little, like, you know, like
Feelings you see.
Feelings you see.
Okay. We gotta learn our love language on how people respond and feel love. There's one that needs to be told that you love them. There's love language of where they need to be held. And what is, I can't remember the other one.
Some need to be fucked.
I guess that's you like to hold. Holding dicks. As Zeppy would say.
Okay, boys.
Boys.
Quiet in the house, please.
Feelings you see are so hard to believe. All the chaos I have in my heart. Devils I make, and the love can't relate. All the solace inside tears me up.
Booyah.
Pro.
Fun to work with somebody who knows how to sing.
Yeah, you don't do that often, do you? As he finally let his guard down, he's a really good guy. He holds up this crazy wall of, he's a super yuppie, plays golf, does all this stuff, but deep, he's a rocker at heart. I'm writing lyrics and they're just pulling my hair and all this shit, but I love my boys. They're with me 24/7. When I'm home, I want to be with them because I'm always gone on tour, so those dudes are my little posse. I feel like when I come out here, I'm like lost because I don't have my two little dudes on each leg in the studio. I mean, that helped inspire me too, just seeing my boys every day and then letting them be around that environment, being creative and music. I think it's good for them. I'd love them to become musicians or whatever they want to do. It doesn't got to be musicians. It's something creative. They're not like normal kids, y'all. They're little evil shits. And I get a kick out of it.
I got mine in the pee-pee. I'll whack you in the face.
Take me away. Set me on fire. There's no other way.
I feel like it's our best record. The song quality, the choruses, the lyrics, we've achieved great songs on this record.
I'm always constantly trying to change up and do things different on each album. And this album is my vibrato album. And vibrato people don't know is when you go, some stuff like that is when you make your voice wobble.
Not many singers can do that many different kinds of voices, and to me, this is one of the most impressive songs because it's like he just shines.
Where do I run? Where do I hide? Give me a reason to end my life. Where do I run? Where do I hide? Give me a reason to get out alive.
That's it.
Hee-hee.
You did it. See how easy that is?
Yeah, motherfucker, when I'm working at night.
It's easy. Oh,
See?
working at night.
Working at night.
Yep,
And you know what?
You did the whole album in the day,
No,
except
I didn't.
for this song.
Scientifically, it is proven that people are more creative at night.
I don't know about that.
Not yuppie banker motherfuckers like you.
You made a lot of people happy by doing that song.
Too bad it couldn't be really about meth. Give me a linea, cause I need to stay up all night.
Man, it doesn't seem like 20 years. It doesn't look like 20 years. It doesn't feel like 20 years, but I guess it's 20 years.
Because I feel better than I ever have. I think we're more energetic than we've ever been. We're playing better than we ever have, so it's like, it feels the other way around. It feels like we just got started.
It feels amazing to be with a group of guys this long and be able to create and not kill each other.
I sort of don't look back. I just keep going forward.
It's pretty amazing to be a part of that legacy and this legendary band that has changed the path of so many different bands. There's no stopping in sight, you know, which is a great feeling.
I've never been more alive in my life. I've never been more proud of Korn's music in my life. It's just a good time to be alive and in Korn.
We made a lot of mistakes. We did a lot of good things. I feel like, you know, I can go another 20 years, man.
Everything in this world like seems to separate and divide and everything, you know, because we're living in a fallen world. Everything goes like that. Reconciliation is a big thing because it puts things back together that are broken. And so that word just means a lot to me. With fans, with the band members, the reconciliation with me and them was so important and so meaningful. I want to do a design on my palm. This one, number 5, means reconciliation. I don't even know if I knew that when I was getting it, but Philly told me it did after because he does some studying on it. I look for signs, you know, in life. 5 band members. Another sign that this is meant to be, this is all meant to be.
Way back when the seed was planted and it took root, and now that the tree is growing and flourishing, and we have these new songs, people are going to hear it, which are going to help nourish it more because we've kept the album and the new music so close to us, and when everybody gets to hear it, it's just going to be like dumping, you know, rainwater on this tree. It's going to strengthen the band, it's going to strengthen the bond between all the fans and bring everybody so close. When we go home after 18 months probably, realistically, of touring this album all around the world, the tree will remain, the leaves will fall, and it will regrow leaves when the next record comes around.